Hello, I am Dr. Abhishek Sharma. In this video, I will discuss pulse amplitude modulation. So let us start. Pulse amplitude modulation. Pulse amplitude modulation is a type of pulse modulation in which pulses are varied in some respect, such as width or amplitude. So as we are considering pulse amplitude modulation in this video, so that means the amplitude of the pulse train is varying with respect to the message signal. As I have discussed, these are the different types of pulse modulation techniques. Pulse width modulation, as discussed in the previous video. Pulse position modulation, where the position of the pulses are changing with respect to the message signal. Pulse width modulation, where the width of the pulse, you can clearly see in this picture that width of the pulses are changing with respect to the message signal. So in this video, I will discuss the pulse amplitude modulation. So pulse amplitude modulation is a type of sampling, or you can say it is lying in the category of sampling. As I have discussed, that sampling is basically divided into two types. Number one is the ideal sampling, and number two is the practical sampling. The ideal sampling is the actual sampling, low pass sampling, which I have already discussed in the previous videos. The practical sampling is basically divided into two subcategories. Number one is the natural sampling, which is called natural PAM, and flat top sampling, which is called flat top PAM. Pulse amplitude modulation. Pulse modulation offers two potential advantages over continuous wave modulation. The transmitted power can be concentrated into short bursts instead of being generated continuously. This enables the use of devices which operate better in pulse regime than in continuous wave regime, mostly due to the thermal reasons. For example, semiconductor lasers, microwave active devices. The second point is the time between pulses can be filled by sampled signal from other sources. So this is a very important advantage of pulse modulation. So it is directly applicable to time division multiplexing. Analogy PM has a disadvantage of requiring large bandwidth. Definitely, as you know that we are using the gate pulses, or you can say the periodic gate pulses. As we know that this is a time bound gate pulse, so that means its spectrum will be from minus infinity to plus infinity. That means its expansion is from 0 to infinity if we are talking about the only positive frequencies, 0 to infinity. You already know that a gate pulse spectrum is considered as the sync pulse or sample pulse. This is the replica in the negative frequencies. So you can see that the bandwidth expansion of the frequency is the bandwidth of the signal. It will start from 0 to infinity. In PAM, the amplitude of regularly spaced pulses are varied in proportion to the corresponding sample value is of a continuous message signal. This technique is also considered as the pulse modulation, pulse amplitude modulation. This is a block diagram of pictorial presentation how we can generate a natural PAM with the help of operational amplifiers. So this is your message. This is a simple amplifier that will amplify voltage levels of the input. Then a switch is applied which is just on and off the path. So switch is like this something. So when the switch is on, whatever be the input at the switch, it will directly passes to the output, like at the load. So it is like this is your buffer. You can clearly see that the output is directly connected at the inverting terminal. So this is a buffer amplifier sampling. It is without gain. So you will see that whatever be the input at the switch, it will directly passes to the output. So you will get this like this one. When the switch is off, definitely you will not get anything at the output. Once the switch again touches to the on state, then it will definitely provide the input value directly towards the output. So this is the way how this circuit works. So this is a pulse amplitude modulator for natural sampling. Block diagrammatically, we can also define the previous diagram. We can see that low pass filtering, basically this is called anti-aliasing filter. Low pass filter, actually what will happen when we apply a message signal to a low pass filter or directly to the multiplier. Actually we are doing low pass sampling. So what will happen if there are some frequency content which are comparatively higher or multiple frequency content, then we have to remove those frequency content before any processing. So first we apply our input to the low pass filter, which eliminates any upper frequency contained which is higher than the desired one. So after that the output of the low pass filter is directly passes to the multiplier, and where we can provide the pulse train. You can clearly see that when we use the multiplier at the input side of the transmitter, it directly belongs to the amplitude modulation. If you compare this with the amplitude modulation which I have discussed in the first unit, so you can clearly see that there is a simple difference from that block diagram as discussed in unit 1 for amplitude modulator, DSB-SC and SSB-SC. You can clearly see that where this pulse train is situated, there was a local oscillator which are generating carrier frequencies, right? So in place of local oscillator which are generating local electromagnetic signals, right, carrier signal, in this pulse amplitude modulation we are using pulse train in place of carrier. So by applying this signal, these two signals at the multiplier inputs, you will get your natural PAM. You can clearly see that this is your message which is like at this end empty. This is your pulse train. Let us suppose this is P tau t. This is, let us suppose, PTT. T is the time period as shown in the figure. So when you multiply this with PTT with MT, you will see that when this pulse's voltage exists, it will directly provide the output, and when you multiply with this MT, you will definitely get this section. And when 0 is multiplied, this 0 voltage is multiplied to the MT, you will get 0. When again you will, let us suppose this is 1, so when you multiply this 1 with MT, you will definitely get 1 into MT. So for those durations where the voltage is not 0, you will get your MT. And for the signal voltage, when for the especially for pulse, when the voltage is 0, you will get 0. So this is how a natural pulse modulator, pulse amplitude modulator works. This is the spectrum of the pulse, natural pulse amplitude modulator. This is, let us suppose this is your message spectrum. The spectrum of the original continuous signal. It is not necessarily that you will always assume that this is a triangular pulse in frequency domain. This is from my side. So when you modulate, when you generate a pulse amplitude modulated spectrum, you will definitely get a replica of these pulses varying with respect to the sync or sample function accordingly. So as you know that once you have obtained the pulse amplitude modulation, you will clearly see that in this part of the spectrum you have your message. So how can you recover from this section? With the help of low pass filter. This is the answer. So you can recover your original message from the natural sampled PAM with the help of low pass filter. So you have to apply this signal to an LPF, so you will get your message directly. So this is a beautiful application of pulse amplitude modulation, where at the demodulation end you will only require a single low pass filter. But to obtain the proper or message signal, you can also use multiple stages of a low pass filter. So you can also use nth order low pass filter. This is the spectrum equation for natural sample pulse, and this is simple your message multiplied with the pulse train. In the previous figure it was PTT, so you can also replace it with PTT. So this is the generalized block diagram of PAM demodulator, where I have used first stage LPF and second stage LPF to recover the our natural pulse amplitude modulated signal. Here I will apply our natural PAM. First stage recovery, and after that you will get your low pass signal, low pass message. This is the generalized circuit diagram, which is most popular for the generation of natural PAM. This is a simple switch. Actually this diagram has been pictorial presentation of the previous diagram which I have already discussed in this presentation. And after that, come to the next pulse amplitude modulated signal, which is flat top. So to generate flat top signal, there is a change between the switch. You can clearly see that here we use this switch as a charging and discharging circuit. Like if you have, and we will apply pulses through the gate terminal of the field effect transistor, and this is the charging discharging capacitor, which is called volt capacitor, and this is the buffer as an amplifier. So you will get, when you apply the signal at this switch, then you will get a constant signal because of this holding capacitor which store charges. And after that, once this capacitor, if let us suppose if the signal is going towards higher voltages, then the switch, just when the switch is open, it will hold the state of that particular voltage. And again, when as the voltage is increasing, so it will always go towards the charging and discharging mode. So this is the way by which you can obtain a flat top pulse amplitude modulated signal. This is the generalized switch. We can also obtain flat top PAM with the help of this circuit. Here you have to apply the massive signal at this terminal, and after that this sampling switch. This is the same switch as presented in this figure. The scenario will be the same. Here we apply our rectangular pulse train, you can say, and this will act as a charging and discharging switch. So flat top, mathematically, if I am talking about the flat top sampled signal, the sampled signal will be obtained as the ideal pulse train when convoluted with a single pulse. How can this will happen? It is, you can clearly understand that there is a property of impulse train, that when you convolute that your impulse signal at to any signal, you will get f of t minus a, right? So when this, let us suppose this is our ft, and when you convolute this with the impulse train, right? So where the in the signal, where are the impulses? These are the points. So you will get this signal, because let us suppose if this signal is f of t minus ta, let us suppose, and when you convolute with let us suppose your del t, so this signal will be del of t minus a, sorry, del t minus a, when convolute with ft, which is your gate pulse, so you will get del of f of t minus ta, right? Similarly, that means your rectangular pulse will be shifted at this point. Similarly, for let us suppose this is the I have considered this is positive ts, and so on. So at this point, again your pulse will be f of t minus 2 ts, right? This is another way to obtain a flat top sampled signal. So we can say that this is our actually ideally sampled signal, and I'm just convoluting the ht. What is my ht? ht is a rectangular pulse, single rectangular pulse. This is our ht. So when we convolute with the ideal impulse train, actually ideal impulse sampled signal with the ht, we will get this value. So this is how we can obtain mathematically the flat top sampled signal. This is the ht as I have discussed. This is our flat top sampled signal. So we can write our flat top sampled signal like this, where m delta t is the ideal sampled signal. Our equation shows that the flat top sampling would be obtained by convoluting the output of ideal sampler with a rectangular pulse of unit amplitude and duration, right? So if you can take the Fourier transform of this expression, you will get this expression ms omega, that will be equal to m delta omega into h of omega. Why? Because when you take the convolution and apply to the when you take the CTFT and apply to the convolution, your convolution will become the multiplication in frequency domain. Now if we are talking about the spectrum of the flat top signal, as this is the gate pulse, so when you take the Fourier transform of your your h of t is your rectangular pulse. So we know that a rectangular pulse is like this, from minus tau by 2 to plus tau by 2. This is your amplitude. Let us suppose this amplitude is a. Then this gate pulse, if you take the Fourier transform of this gate pulse, I am talking about the CTFT. So you will get a tau sample omega tau upon 2, right? So this is your actually sample signal, right? Sample signal or sync signal, you can also say sync. Sometimes in different books you will find that sampled and sync signals are associated with each other. Like for example, sample t, you can also write it as sync of t, sync of t by pi, right? Or you can also say that sample of pi t is equal to sync of t. I can also write it as sinc of t, it is equal to sine of pi t upon pi t, and that will also considered as sample of pi t, where sample of pi t means sine of pi t divided by pi t, the same thing, right? So this is the m delta t, which is the time domain expression of the pulse train when you just sampling the your impulse train actual signal and convolute with the h of t, right? So you will get this signal. This is the spectrum of this one, because when you take the rectangular gate CTFT of a rectangular pulse, you will get this HF like this, right? This is your HF. So the spectrum of the HT, and when you convolute or multiply these two terms, right, this is your, so you will get, this is actually m of f, so you will get this type of signal. So you can clearly see that as the frequency is going towards high side, your amplitude of the spectrum, high frequency spectrum, are decreasing. So the spectrum of HT is equivalent to a sinc function, as I have already discussed. So in the frequency domain, it is convoluted with sinc function, right? So as shown in figure, the spectrum goes 0 at f is equal to 1 by t and also decreasing. Now this is called aperture effect, in which the sinc or sample function in the expression of HF suggests that it acts like a low pass filter, attenuates the upper portion of the massive spectrum. I have already told you that when you see the spectrum of the flat top sample signal, you will see that higher frequency signals are suppressed because of the sinc function, right? So, and especially centered at f is equal to 0. This loss of high frequency content is called as aperture effect, and the aperture effect can be reduced by reducing the pulse width, right? So once you reduce the pulse width, right, so this aperture effect will also decrease. Why? Because you can clearly see that the width is inversely proportional to 1 upon tau. So when tau decreases, your band, that means your frequency bandwidth will be increases. So the aperture effect can be compensated by using an equalizer having the amplitude response in the cascade with the reconstruction filter. That means let us suppose that if I will automatically increase from my side, I will increase the amplitude of the higher frequency content. So when this phenomena happens, it will not actually you can say that it will not suppress, or the higher frequency, the amplitude of the higher frequency signal will not be suppressed too much, right? So that's why it is so important. The transfer function of the equalizer should be such that it will neutralize the effect of the aperture, right? So that's why it is very important that equalizer should have the response which is equal to 1 upon mod of HF. So this is the block diagram of a demodulator which is specially dedicated for flat top. You can clearly see that here you will receive the flat top signal and initial stage of a low pass filter. After that it will go towards the equalizer, which is 1 upon h of f. This is the spectrum of the equalizer, spectrum response or magnitude response of the equalizer. And after that you will also use this another stage of LPF. Actually it is not necessary, but if you want to make more accurate towards your actual low pass signal, then you can also state number of stages of LPF. That means you can also apply number of stages. Like for example, you will also use nth stage filter and nth stage low pass filter, and you will get your message here. So these were the flat top pulse amplitude modulated signal and natural pulse amplitude modulated signal. So in this video, this is it. Thank you very much.